Greetings Capricorn, and welcome to your November reading with me. Hey, thanks for joining me wherever you are viewing this from around the world, and welcome to all the new subscribers. It's lovely to see you joining Team Celestial. We move into November, getting towards the end of this odd year 2020, but we're not out of the woods yet with really combustible activated planetary alignments. Now that astrology is what really rules or dictates what is happening on the planet. It affects us greatly as individuals and as a collective community. So some of the things that are happening are Mercury stations direct on the 3rd of November. We have the 1111 portal, which is very powerful. We have Friday the 13th, which is also quite a powerful energy in its own right. We have Mars stationing direct on the same day. We have a new moon in Scorpio on the 15th, and we have Neptune stationing direct on the 28th. Then to top it all off, we have a full moon, a lunar eclipse in Gemini on the 30th. Now this full moon lunar eclipse is the beginning of a pair of eclipses coming. The second one is on December the 14th in Sagittarius. Now there are some also really big astrological events occurring in December, and I mean big. So we are still pushing ourselves into this unknown territory of very volatile, combustible, interesting, change motivating astrological lineups. So hold your breath, strap your seat buckles on, and get ready to ride out the rest of this year, because that's what we're going to be doing. Now, some of the messages I got for you intuitively before we start your reading, where it said to use magic to set your intentions for this month of November, and that the moon will play a role. So I'm thinking the eclipses will have something to do with your energy and decision making as you move forward into the power energy of 2021. It also said to manifest your desires, and I said you need to work on manifesting these. Don't just let them slip by and sit idle in the background of your thoughts. Push them to the front and really work on focusing to get them to happen. Also, it said to utilize this timeline in the astrological realm to bring about what and how you want your future to be. So this seems to be a time for you guys to really make some solid plans and some grounding and some ideas about how you want to head forward for 2021, but possibly even further than that. It might encompass the whole decade. You also got a message about spirit animals, so maybe some of you get a new spirit guide, some of you may receive new animals, and even a horse plays a role somehow, or I'm thinking of horsepower. Now, of course, horsepower can sometimes be associated with vehicles, so things that you might own, like cars or bikes, or things that you travel in or that you work around or with. The other thing was cleanse your aura and make sure that it becomes reflective. Don't hold on to any dark energy. So I picture this little crystal here, the aura reflective quartz crystal. You see how it has this beautiful reflective ability in it? That's kind of how you want your aura to be yourself, really reflective and full of high vibrational energies. So I might put that in the background of the reading for you guys and see how that works for you. So this is for Capricorn for November. There's our first card out, and what will it be? Suffering and Silence, number 9, the Swords. He's come out reversed, but to be honest, this deck doesn't really seem to have much integration with reverse cards. Even though it's a tarot deck, it is designed in the way of an oracle in essence. So we will turn it around. It is, as I say, the 9 of Swords. This can sometimes mean lack of sleep. It can mean receiving dreams during your sleep, or even being involved in other things such as astral travel or cosmic intervention while you are sleeping. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I've noticed that this year in particular, my dreams have become very, very strange. Now, it so happens that when you dream, you usually just end up in a dream. You just get there. You don't really know how you got to the point of what's happening in a dream. It just turns into being. Oftentimes when you are dreaming, it's usually with people you know, not with strangers, and usually they don't do much talking. And oftentimes if they do talk, the other people in your dream, you don't see the lips moving. Now for me this year, I've started dreaming, I still don't know how I get to the exact dream, but with my dreams, I'm dreaming with many, many strangers, people I've never met before, and they are extremely convoluted dreams, and they go on for a long time, and these people play a major role in my dreams, as if I'm almost the watcher or the viewer. And they talk a lot, they talk to me, they talk at me, they talk to each other, I see their lips moving. It's as if I'm in another reality or a dimension. So some of you may experience really potent or powerful dreams, you may receive messages from them, you may even find answers to certain situations you are seeking to find answers for within your dreams. But this card can also mean anxiety, a little bit of depression and worry. So if this is the case, we need to focus more on bringing lightness in and making sure that things are being looked after in terms of relaxation, good diet, getting enough restful sleep if you can, applying positive energy fields around yourself, and things like raising your vibration or your frequency or your aura can all help to go towards that. I understand that this is a time of fairly intense emotional energy around the planet because of the year that we have had and how it has played out. There's also the astrological lineup that has caused tension as well. So seeing cards like this come out is actually understandable, and it is part of the journey. So rather than run from it or hide from it, we just need to learn how to deal with it. You have 2 nines, interestingly enough, to start this reading off for November. This is a major arcana. This card is actually the Hermit card. So this is again about traditionally the Hermit card shows a man on a mountain in a kind of a darkened environment, and he has been at one with himself, and he has been in a time of solitude, often learning about life or learning about the magic of life or how to deal with life and what it throws us. So sometimes solitude is the time when we do find answers, because we go within and we become more focused, or we become more aware of what it is we require. So this could be a month where you focus on yourself and your goals, dreams and ambitions, and you put you first. If there's anything that needs fixing or healing or recharging, I'm thinking of you guys feeling like you need to recharge batteries, and it could be because some of you may have been left feeling a bit flat or a bit blah after the end of this year, or as you are heading into winter, or for the likes of us in the southern hemisphere heading out of winter. Some of you may have been debilitated by an illness or a virus, or have just been running on empty batteries. So this is a time to focus on recharging your physical body and your mental and spiritual, and that seems to go well with the messages I got for you that came in intuitively before the reading. So to bring in some compassion for yourself, some gentleness, some nurturing, some time out, some contemplation, some ideas about where you want to head for next year, some goal setting, I think. And the number 9 is often about coming towards the end of a cycle. So, completing something within your life. So some of you may find that you feel you're coming to the end of an era, whether it be a career era or an education era or a health modality that you've been working on, or even a relationship. And speaking of relationships, we have this card, the 6, which is actually the Lovers card. So this is harmony. This is magnificent feeling of togetherness and completion and support in particular from another person. But the Lovers card is often about choices as well, and it's about being in a position where we feel we want to make a choice. Sometimes this card can turn up when there is a new potential romantic partner coming into your life, Other times it can be when there's a new opportunity around a business perspective, because this card can be business partnerships that also come in. It can also represent partnerships within the pet realm. So some of you may receive a new pet in your life that becomes a very special companion one way or another. This card can also be about choosing to embrace love in all of its different forms. And sometimes, again, this means choosing which love to take. So we can sometimes find ourselves having to look closely at why we are attracted to a certain person and what it is about them that is bringing the attraction into our realm, and whether or not we are choosing to stay with them or to move on. It is a card quite often of choices and decisions, but with this card I think it's a lovely depiction, the way the two hands are held together and they have a slight glow around them, and it's a kind of coming from the heart chakra area as well. So there may be this real glow around your heart chakra energy center in this month of November and leading into 2021 in the areas of love and emotions that might be really awakened for you guys, or it might be an area where you find yourselves contemplating about what it is you are seeking in this realm. And for some of you, yes, it could be a new relationship turning up. It jumped out with this card as well, which is conflict and defeat. It's another swords card. This card can mean arguments and disparities from points of view or opinions or belief systems or integrity values. And sometimes when this card comes, it literally means you could be saying goodbye to someone on a long-term perspective. It can mean arguments and feisty communication between people. The message with this card is often don't go over the top in things that you are saying. Just try and keep your balance and be mindful and respectful of everyone's right to feel the way they feel as well as yourself, but also to use the right terms when you are speaking to people, because this card often means it's the ending of a relationship and they can disappear forever. So if it's someone like a family member or someone who you've had a deep friendship with for a long time, if you don't handle this right, they may disappear and never come back. However, you may want that to happen as well. It is entirely up to you as to which way you decide to take this course of action, because you're the one that holds the trump card in terms of this. We usually find that when this card comes up, it is to do with some sort of battle of the wills between people's perspective or opinions, and you're just not blending together anymore with the other people that could be in this argument or disagreement. For some people it might be about political perspectives or how you feel a country is going, or your belief systems, or your opinions or perspectives around the planet, global warming, climate change, animals, Black Lives Matter. All of those types of things could be areas that bring about conflict and defeat or tension in subject matter. And it might be that you feel some of this conflict and tension in a close harmony relationship. So that's why I'm saying there could be something that needs to be addressed, but perhaps it could be worked on to be resolved rather than to have it fire up and, be spat out the other end and disappear forever. So a couple of swords cards coming in and two major arcanas so far. So of course when we get the major arcanas, we know that we're in for quite an intense month. Let's see what else is in store here for Capricorn for November. Ooh. The Seven of Wands, stand your ground. So we're getting this whole feeling of being quite firm about what it is you want and how you want it to play out. This can be around career sectors as well, because it's in the creative field. Another 7, choose wisely in how you handle things, or what you say, or the decisions or choices you make. So I feel that there's definitely something coming where you guys are going to want to stamp your mark, stand your ground, have your word, make sure that people are hearing what you say, But just remember what I said, that it will cause not necessarily tension, but it will cause divide, I think, in some people around you. And you might just be at a point where it's time to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. I've had enough. Obstacles and challenges, which really is very much the same as the other card that came out. It's another 5 actually. So the 2 5s, similar. We don't really need to go into it anymore, except to say that 5s are temporary. They're very transient, so they're not long term. Like the event that takes place around this comes and goes quite quickly. The outcome might be long term, but it's a change in direction anyhow. This one here, the 5 of Wands, can often be seen when we are referring to things like a career, or in our jobs at work, or in creative sectors as well. So 2 5s, 2 7s, 2 9s, we're getting real doubling up here of your numbers, as if they're trying to portray a message quite succinctly. 2 6s, moving on. Oh wow, okay. So some of you might be moving on from a lover's situation. Now sometimes when the lover's card comes out, which is sort of what I was saying before, it can mean making a choice, and it can mean moving on. And sometimes this is because there might be 3 people involved. The lovers can be about, your integrity values, or making this decision about, is this the right person for me, or have I met a new person, which could be a new lover, which might mean that you move on from an old one. Generally though, this card is a positive card in terms that it means you're moving from something dark into the light. Now we talked about that at the very beginning of the reading, when I said to brighten your aura and to bring light and energy and energize yourself into the next month of November, but definitely as you walk into 2021, to bring some lightness of being for you guys. Because Capricorn, you're an earth sign, right? And you're very stoic, and you're very methodical, and you're very practical. So sometimes I think you need this lightness of being to lighten your load. Sometimes I feel as though you feel that you have the weight of the world on your shoulders because of your practicality and your logic and your, the way you do things properly in life. You don't often cheat the system. You don't often do things wrong. So sometimes that just needs to be let go of a little bit, to allow a bit more freedom of your destiny to come in, without the rigid constraints that can be enforced by yourself, but sometimes enforced by society as well, I think. Let's see what we have here now. A 2 and a 3. Some mental conflict, and these sword cards have actually just started to pop out a little bit for these November readings. So this means a little bit like we've talked about before, just some tension and some conflict going on in the mind, like questioning aspects or ideas or integrity values or belief systems or people around you or situations. It can mean choices, deciding which way to go. So we've had this choose wisely card already in your reading. So I think there are options coming for you, and there are decisions to make, and you're at this kind of juxtaposition of, do I go left or right? Do I leave this behind or uplift that? It feels like a month of duality coming in. This is a good card, rejoice and celebration. It's the sisterhood card of life. There's often fun times when this card is here, celebrations, anniversaries, parties, happiness, knowing that people have your back and that you have great friends and family to support you, as well as in the community as well, that you're quite highly thought of, and that people will be there for you. Sometimes this is a gathering of friends that you haven't seen in a long time, maybe traveling to see them for a happy celebration most often. So there we are. You have an interesting numbering system that came in, all of these doubled up cards, almost as if it's trying to tell you the message doubly, or to double up on something, or to listen twice as hard. Anyhow, let's put those ones in here. I'll pop that on there. And we will see what these little fairy cards want to say. These cards are often quite active, quite cheeky sometimes. Oh wow, walk away. Leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. And I think that's really pertinent to focus on that, because we've had a lot of messages in here about moving on, walking away, leaving something behind that hasn't been servicing you particularly well, or has caused you a feeling of flatness, or like a heaviness or a darkness, which is what I talked about in the very beginning. It just feels flat. So they're saying, yep, it might be time to make these new directions, get these plans in order, lighten up your energy fields, bring in some high vibrational light frequencies, and get yourself out into the light and feel the doors open for the new directions that you could be heading in, especially getting ready for 2021. So that's really good messages that have come in about changing direction or allowing something to move into the background as we leave 2020 behind. I wonder if a lot of you have felt 2020 to just be like flat. I guess all of us have to a degree, but whether or not your 2020 year has just been like as if you felt like it's a waste, not much has been achieved, or that you couldn't achieve what you wanted to, or something along those lines. Anyhow, another lovely card, perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. Wow, you see, so walk away, leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open, and this is the right time for you to move forward. Now, this is a general reading, so for each of you, this will be a different perspective or aspect of life that this is speaking to you about. But wherever this is resonating with you most, you are getting really quite strong messages about walking away from something and being prepared to walk into the newness. And I know we are coming toward the beginning of another new year, the second year in this new decade, but your messages here are quite succinct. Let's just see one more card from here. This is for Capricorn for November 2020. Autumn. In the fall season, everything comes together and you reap wonderful harvests of abundance. So I think for the Northern Hemisphere right now is autumn. Down here we're in spring. So I'm not sure if this is relative for us in the Southern Hemisphere as being just the opposite of autumn, or whether for any Capricorns down here we have to wait nearly a full year for this to eventuate. But in the fall season, everything comes together and you reap wonderful harvests of abundance. And that's kind of the feeling I got, and that was definitely some of the messages I said anyhow. It was about manifest your desires and set your intentions and use the magic to do this, and really work hard on setting the intentions to bring about what and how you want your future to be. So I think that is a really powerful perspective to understand that abundance is coming your way. And definitely if you apply all of these technologies or these understandings or these paradigms and plant them all together to strategize something, walk away with perfect timing at this point in time and you will be moving into more abundance. So just one from the Goddess deck to finalize your reading for November. It's been quite a demanding reading in many ways. It's given you a lot to contemplate and think about, and I think it is important to put yourself first in this month of November and sort of prioritize how you want to move forward. So this is for Capricorn. For November 2020. I was nearly going to say for November 2021. This is for Capricorn. Oh. Sekhmet, be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. And I always feel that of Capricorns, you are very strong. Now I see the two lions down the bottom here. This could be representative of Leo type energies or someone in the Leo astrological sign. It could also represent the message I got at the beginning about spirit animals. And I did say horses as in horsepower, but horses are also very powerful and strong. And we're thinking of horsepower as in strength and energy and fuel and movement and going forward. So take whatever of these wonderful cards towards the end of your reading are giving you the ability to shape your future as you move out of 2020 and into 21, and be strong and use your Capricorn determined strength to powerhouse into the new year coming. So thank you for joining the reading. Thank you for joining the channel or subbing the channel. Also for leaving your comments. Check your moon and rising signs as well. And I wish you all a very happy, prosperous November ahead as you make your plans to format the structure of the shape of your 2021. Much love everyone. Namaste.